It's preparing now. All right. We live on YouTube, fellas.
Y'all hear my sprinklers in the back?
Preparing now.
Oh.
So we live on YouTube. Let me get the link for us. All right. We live on YouTube, fellas.
Live on my sprinklers in the back.
Everybody still can hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sharing the link to the list, to the group, so y'all can put it on your Facebook.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
All right.
You shared it to the group?
Yep. There, it should be coming through now. And then I'll put it on my Facebook too.
Yeah, I know I still got T-Mobile, man.
Oh, good. I got T-Mobile too. Yeah, I don't talk about the mobile.
And I'm over here joking. No, I don't have T-Mobile. I got Sprint. I'm the last one keeping them alive right now.
Oh, they finna get rid of you too.
Yep.
And Wally, you put it up already?
You say that?
No, I'm looking on.
I was doing it on my phone. I mean, on the computer. I'm about to do it on my phone, though.
What, the link?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna
I put it on my page.
I'll put it on the page.
Yeah, let me see. I mean, one of y'all probably could just tag me to it.
I'll tag. Yeah, I'll tag you.
I tagged all y'all.
Okay.
Yeah. And what's your name on Facebook?
Me?
Yeah, Dion.
I got Riley. Wiley, and I got your name, CoachJay. On here?
Yeah, CoachJay Brown.
Is it ran together?
Coach and Jay is. Brown is separate. You found me? I just added you as a friend. I don't think we were friends.
All right, that's what it was.
Yeah, so just set the friend request and then you can add me.
I got you.
All right.
I got you.
Okay.
What is this? What's the topic of this?
I just put it called the discussion featuring the locker room boys. It's supposed to be water bottle boys because that's what Dion called us.
Water bottle boys.
Hey man, the water bottle boys, man.
I'm about to change. Yeah, I'm about to change it.
I'm gonna put the sports discussion.
Yeah, he wanted to be the water bottle boys, so I was cool with that. It's cool.
I'm ready when y'all ready, my guys.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. Well, here we are live on YouTube. Facebook was cutting up on us today, so everybody can join in on YouTube. I'll be at repeat questions or whatever. This is the discussion. We're gonna talk about recruiting rankings and what was the last one we were talking about, D? Dion?
We're gonna talk about some trainers, man.
Trainers. Yeah. So we're gonna talk a little bit about everything, just a little open discussion about basketball, man. And we here live to have a little fun. Everybody introduce yourself. Well, we got a new special guest with us today. He wasn't with us the other day, but
yeah, I'm here today. I was in the comments. What's up, fellas?
What up? All right. You can tell people on your Facebook that I can go live chat. So we good. So if they want to chat in, we can chat on YouTube.
All right, cool.
Everybody's in. Let's roll. Dion, start us off then.
Man, so let's talk about this recruiting process right now with everything being all crazy, man. I think it's real rough for a lot of high school seniors.
It is, because they're having to do a lot of virtual recruitment. So there's no on-campus visits right now. There's no in-person visits. There's only a lot of text messaging and phone calls, from my understanding and talking to people. It ain't a whole lot of, like, we can go on your visit. You can't go on that.
Yeah. Gotta get creative, man. Gotta get creative. Shit. If they seniors and they ain't signed by now, hopefully they out there doing what they gotta do, especially from their high school coaches, their travel ball coaches. They gotta make those contacts. People gotta work. It ain't as easy, So hopefully they out there doing that.
I think personally, this is when you're gonna see when you'll see when people actually, how creative they can get and how well they are as a recruiter, because now you can't get them in person. You can't show them that live trip on on campus. So now you really got to be creative and sell your school, but sell your program without people being there. Because I can sell you, if you come to my campus, I can sell you on my campus all day long. But if you're not on my campus, I can't sell you on it, especially if you've never seen it. So now you have to be creative and get with the juices and see, like, what are we going to do? How am I going to get this kid on campus? How am I going to get this kid to come sign their NLT with me?
Yeah. No, I think too, man, like another thing, Wiley, I get what you were saying about, if the college coaches hadn't seen those kids already, but the thing about it is, it's 800 kids in the transfer portal, something like that?
About over 1,500.
Yeah, so now, you talking about, high school seniors not really getting an opportunity when, a program who trying to win right away, those guys can just go to the transfer portal, and a high school kid will be missing out. So, it's real tough on them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, now I'm gonna tell you this. I don't agree with the transfer, the portal thing, man. That's crazy. The reason I say that is, kids always transfer, right? That's a fact. But man, when you start seeing 800 or 1,500 kids in the transfer portal, who is their guidance? And then let's be honest, all those kids not gonna get picked up. That's a fact. That's crazy. And I seen something else the other day. They had a ranking. Who ranking transfer kids? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. So I think that's putting fluff in the game, man. And you gonna have a lot of kids, more kids fail that's successful. You know what I'm saying? That's just horrible, bro. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it.
I don't, like he said, I don't agree with the transfer portal, because, like he said, they're setting you up to fail. They're setting you up that's not real life. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if I go to a job and I don't like this boss, okay, I'm going to leave today and I'm going to just go find me something else. No, it don't work like that. But these kids, they think life is easy. So they think they're entitled. A lot of kids think they're entitled to a whole lot, which they aren't. And like you said, that goes back to who's guiding these kids. And that's a major thing, man. These kids are getting really bad guidance from some people that don't have their best interests, man. And that's messing up the game, man. That's throwing a lot of bad, vibes and salt in the game. And I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, but at the same time too, man, like, I think it's gonna help a lot of JUCOs out, because now those kids who can't find a place to play, the JUCO is gonna sit there and really get a lot of good high school talent, even if it's for 1 year, and then too, you probably got a lot of kids looking at doing a post-grad year. So, like those guys can sit there and they're gonna have some opportunities to grab some of those kids as well.
I had got something yesterday from a coach. Not yesterday, a couple of days ago. The first time I ever heard this. The coach said, "Do you have any high academic seniors or JUCO kids that's coming out right now?" And he said he preferred the JUCO kids. Now I know they pick up JUCO kids, but when I heard that a bell went off in my head. Was like, that's showing me that a lot of kids, they not taking chances on kids that's coming out of high school from an academic standpoint, but more importantly, just from a mentality standpoint of maturity. You get what I'm saying? When I heard him say they prefer the JUCO kids, the first thing came to my head, it had nothing to do with academics. It was more of the maturity of those kids. So when I heard that, man, it's a thing that we really got to jump on when we start talking about, the guidance of these kids, but people got to start being real to these kids from a maturity level, making sure they grow up early. Because one thing, like I tell my kids, and I tell parents more than anything, it's never the talent. You're going to always have talented kids. But the separation just be that mental part. Who could grind the hardest and who could handle all the extra stuff that comes when you step on that campus. So obviously for a coach to say they prefer the JUCO kids, that's telling me more kids coming out isn't mentally capable to handle that, to handle that pressure to college yet. So, I mean, that's something that we really gotta start talking about, man, because it's not being talked about. Obviously, if a coach say they prefer the JUCO kids over a kid coming out of high school,
Yes.
I don't think I've ever heard that one either.
No.
I mean, that was a D1 coach. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing: even when they transfer like that, but they really come to find out what the common denominator is, that just because you leave one place don't mean it's gonna be easy when you get somewhere else. Yeah. If you're the problem, it's gonna show up and it's gonna be there. Like, there's not gonna be any lack or leeway in between that. If you're the problem, then it's gonna show up whether you're there or not. You know what I'm saying? So I don't get that.
The thing is, man, okay, I'm not gonna say I completely disagree. I'm gonna go back because there's some circumstances where kids, you know what I mean, all right, him and the coach don't get along or whatever, or promises are broken or whatever after 2. You know what I'm saying? Then those circumstances, all right, that kid can get up out of there. If it's some friction or some animosity or something like that. But I think a lot of these kids are running from competition, man. And I understand, okay, if a coach recruited you there for a year, okay, then this coach leaves, and then they bring in a new coach. And then that coach, you're not a part of that coach's plan. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not a part of that new coach's plan, and then you get, weeded out or whatever. Then I can see, okay, all right, man, the kid might even want to transfer or go to another school. But if you're there with this same coach and you don't play your first year, that comes back to what I said. They feel like they're entitled. You know what I mean? Like, I never ran from competition. That was my thing. I always wanted to, you know what I'm saying? I came to Carolina or wherever, and I was looking for the best. Who was that guy? Who was the man? You know what I'm saying? And that's who head I want to go at. I don't care what position you was at. Me and you going to eventually meet. And that's what I wanted. And and if I didn't play, okay, that was on me. That was something I need to get better. And me and coach probably will talk about that. But I don't just think after a year, your freshman year, I didn't play or something like that, and you bounce. That just shows me you're not mentally ready for a challenge.
For me, I transferred at the end of my freshman year only for the simple fact that the coach that recruited me to Western Kentucky, Dennis Felton, actually left and got the job at Georgia. And I tried to stay and give Darren Horn a chance at Western Kentucky, but it just wasn't the fit for me. So I think I think those situations are legitimate reasons to transfer as far as it goes to transfer. Because, I mean, you come to school to play. I come to school to play 4 years for Dennis Felton, but then he leaves after year 1, which I can't blame him because, he took a job that changed his family dynamics forever. You know what I'm saying? But just to up and leave because it got hard. It got hard for me my freshman year. Him and I talked about that last Friday on the show. That, he was like, I was proud of you because you had the will and the perseverance to get through it and you didn't give up even when it got hard. He said, and he was like, most freshmen, when they come in, it is hard for them because you're trying to get adjusted to academic life and then you try to get adjusted to basketball 24/7, the workouts, the full-time workouts, the study hall, all that. So, it was good.
Hey, Jamal, that all sound good. but let's be honest, man. You didn't give Darren Horn a chance, man. When Coach Felton said he was leaving, you bounced, man. So come on, man. Keep it
I
real.
stayed until the end of first semester my sophomore year, dog. I left. Lowe's, did you play for Darren Horn?
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. You
But-
should.
but-
We're not going to talk about that guy. I'm not going to talk about that guy.
Thank you for that right there. Lets y'all know that I'm not crazy.
Same way Skip Bayless used to talk about Kawhi Leonard. He never called his name. I'm not going to talk about that guy.
No, that's a good point. But here's my thing too. So we talk about, the competition and stuff about, college kids transferring. So like a lot of the stuff that's being said, what do you say about the high school kids when they transfer from one high school to another? I mean, are you sitting there saying the same thing? Because you got to remember now, every situation is not for every person. You know what I'm saying?
I give you
So
that.
Well, when you get to high school though, listen, like I don't mind a kid transferring to high school if it got to do with opportunity. You get what I'm saying? Opportunity, that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? But most people, when they get to college, come on, everybody played college ball, right? So when you first get there, it's a damn shocker. You get what I'm saying? From a mental aspect. It ain't, you going in there, you think you the man anyway, but you get shocked from a mental aspect. When we talk high school ball, if a kid transferring and it's for opportunity, that's a different story. I have no problem with a kid transferring for opportunity because not all high school coaches is on the same level. You get what I'm saying? As far as could give a kid an opportunity. So if they transferring for opportunity, I'd rather for a coach, if they tripping or they mad the kid transferred, it's better for them to up their game. You get what I'm saying? As far as opportunity wise, not just a kid. Now, if a kid transfer because, hey, I just want to try to go, be a part of the crowd, man, that's a problem. But if you going to transfer to help that organization or for an opportunity, now that's a different story. You know what I'm saying?
So why John Morant didn't transfer from Murray State and go up higher?
Because he was in a good situation. I wouldn't have left Murray State either because I'm the man and we get into that dance. You could see me. You get what I'm saying? Now, if I go play for Duke or North Carolina and I'm on that bench, that's a different story. But if I could get out there and do all me, hey, listen, I ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Nowhere.
Yeah, that was a good deal.
I mean,
Nowhere.
Well, what else, D? I mean, but see, here's a question that I gotta ask Dion. It's everybody, but I'm gonna say it to you because a lot of people feel that it's gonna quote unquote affect you. Okay. Mm-hmm. What is up with this new transfer rule to where if you transfer from a high school and there's no physical move, then that kid has to sit for a year? How can you possibly do that to a kid? Because let's say I'm a 4.0 kid. I transfer from here to there for academics, whether it be for, to get the college lifestyle academics that Gray offers, or whether I transfer into an IB program. How you going to sit me for a year if I'm transferring for academics, whether I physically move or not?
Yeah, I mean, like the thing I always say, man, it's amazing how everybody is about the kids. But then when you have stuff like this pop up, obviously it's not about the kid, but at the same time, man, parents are making sacrifices to put their kids in great situations. So, I really don't think it will be no effect because if somebody got a child and they want them to get, better academics or, better academics and athletics, then are you gonna sit there and make that sacrifice, to help your kid, go somewhere where it can really benefit him in the long run? So I really think it's gonna fall back on, the parents even more now. So like I said, I didn't put a lot of thought into it, man, because for a situation like us, if somebody want to come, I mean, we go by the same rules as everybody else. You got to sit there and you got to move into our district. So, it's really on the parents and the kid.
Wiley?
I mean, it go back to what I said. I mean, obviously that rule came up because somebody was crying. You get what I'm saying? You just got to up your game. That's all. I always said that, man. Things gonna change. You get what I'm saying? When we come back from this pandemic or whatever we dealing with, things gonna be different. You get what I'm saying? So I just think people just have to adjust, man. You gotta adjust. It ain't no excuses. I always say that, no excuses. So you gotta adjust. Things gonna get different. Things gonna be different. So I mean, somebody was crying, you know what I'm saying? And then like Dion said, it's hurting the kid. You get what I'm saying? You not, when you talk about X's and O's, the goal is, even from high school sports, is to create basically kids that's gonna be productive citizens, right? So when you take a kid from being able to to change they situation only because you worried about wins or losses, it's a problem. Up your game though. That's all I'm saying.
Hey,
Just up your game.
hey, Wally, I got one for y'all that's even better. Okay, so you got example, you got a 6'11" kid, and he's in some small town, and his basketball coach is the music teacher. But you can see the potential around the kid. Now, here's my thing. So if you got like across the street from his school, you got a school that's known for producing big time talent and helping develop kids, but but the kid and his family sitting there saying like, okay, look, let's go across the street. But if he goes across the street, you got to keep him out. So now, rather than the kid and the family trying to better himself, you penalize the kid by making him sit the whole physical year. But we about the kids, right or wrong?
I agree with that.
I'm not.
I mean, but that's a good example, though, right?
It's a great example. I personally don't. I don't like the rule, and I don't think it's fair in no regards. If I decide I don't want to be at a school, then even with that, why do districts have school choice if you're going to penalize me for going to the school of my choice?
Makes sense.
Because a lot of districts have school choice now.
Yeah.
Or if you're not in that district and it's another district close by and you have transportation, they allow you to come. So what's the difference?
I mean, a good example of this though is let's say like the DC high school ball, right? Obviously, it's a DC is arguably probably the best basketball area, as they say, right? As far as producing players. So you go to DC, most of their kids that could play on that private school level, right? Public school really don't say much, but they've been doing it for years, right? And if you look at that area, a lot of their basketball is above many, only because of that. You know what I'm saying? They got options. It's just made them way more competitive, and they just producing more. For the area, they just producing more. I think that a lot of people don't like change. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people don't like change. I seen in one of the chats, somebody brought up the idea about like the top. I think the top 2A play the top 3A, or the top 4A, play the 5, and then it's like a overall championship. The same ones I'm seeing crying about that, they don't want to do that. you get what I'm saying? Because it's not about the kids, it's about they wins and losses. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. Like Dion said, you got a music teacher, that been a high school coach for the past 20 years. Nothing changed. They want the kids to get better, but they not educating themselves on the game. They not doing the clinics they need to do. They not going past they 9 to 5, or in the summertime, they not even working with the kids or opening the gym. So I mean, it's a lot to it, but you got to adjust, man. It's all about adjusting. That's just my thoughts on
it. Los?
All for it, man. You like we said, you punishing the kid, man. Man, these kids need to if they want to go for a better opportunity, like you said, they want to go to a better coach, a better program, and they're stuck with the like you said, the music teacher as their coach, not helping them be better individuals, helping them be better individuals, but not pursuing them as, being a better athlete. and that's something you're gonna take away from a kid, man. That's kind of tough. You know what I mean? Like you say, if he got a 4.0, he still got to sit out. That's rough, man.
Yeah,
that's rough, man. That's rough on the kid because I transferred my senior year. You know what I'm saying? I transferred to Wilson. You know, my senior year in high school. I left West Florence, and I had to go through, you know, the strenuous process. I had to get lawyers and all this stuff, and this was back. This was in 2000 when I did this, and you know, I had to show, you know, address change. They had like private detectives at the end of the block, you know, taking pictures of my house.
That's crazy.
Nah, man, because they didn't want me. Hey, man,
they still do that now.
Nah, I'm telling you, man, they did not want me to go to Wilson. Man. They did not. I'm talking about me and my mom went through everything. I can't thank her and Coach Wilson, man, and you know, Coach Tommy Johnson, man. They got me through that. Man. They worked together, you know, to get me through that, to get me over there because I didn't play basketball my junior year. You know what I'm saying? I didn't play any basketball, so I got out of there and got the opportunity to go to Wilson, man. And Wilson that transfer saved my life. That transfer literally saved my life. They got private detectives taking, you know, pictures of my mom's car and they got pictures of the mail, and they done been to the mailbox to make sure her name's on the mail. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. My mom can verify this now. I'm telling you, she can tell you this. We went through everything to get me over there to Wilson, man. But, you know, they was trying to, you know, stop a kid from playing the game that he loved to play. And if they'd have stopped me from going over there, I probably would have never got a scholarship to go to Carolina. You know what I mean?
So why did you want to leave from over there, though, Los?
I just feel like, of course, Wilson is, man. When I was coming up, man, Wilson was everything. Wilson was the best at football, not baseball. They had basketball. They had whatever. They just had people that looked like me and I could relate to. You know what I'm saying? And at West Florence, it was like other athletes were getting more, you know, recognition. I was definitely better. You know, 9th and 10th grade, I came through like a storm. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't play my 11th grade year because I got into some stuff. And then I felt like they took it out on me and wasn't even trying to give me opportunity. You know what I mean? So I left. I was playing football and everything, man. And it was always something about Wilson, man. Wilson had the best homecoming. Wilson had the best, you know, cheerleaders, you know, everything. You know what I'm saying? Just top to bottom. Just the tradition of Wilson was just all around better. And they were putting athletes in college.
Yeah, I don't like how you say you're plugging Wilson either, man. What's up with that?
I'm just saying, they were that's what happened, man. You know what I'm saying? They saved my life. Wilson saved my life, bro. That was my transfer that they tried to block. I'm telling you, if I wouldn't have went to Wilson, man, I don't know where I would have been.
That's tough.
So let me ask y'all this. It's the question I've been throwing out there. Do the coaches make the players or do the players make the coaches?
Hey, you know, I mean, you want me to start?
I don't care who starts. I'm just throwing the question out there. And you have to pick one because politically correct, yes, we know they go hand in hand with each other.
Yeah.
But if you got to pick one today, do the coaches make the players or do the players make the coaches?
I think it's the players. And, you know, like I was on the fence with saying both, but I think it's the players. And the only reason I say that is every player is different. So regardless of what you have every year, you got to sit there as a coach and you got to sit there and make adjustments. That's not only going to help the kid, but that's going to help your program as well. So, you know, I would say the player, you know, and you know, y'all might think it's a little different.
Technically, you just said the coach.
You did. Because you said the coach because you said the coach
you said like different players every year. You said the coach, you know what I mean? Like technically you said the coach because he had to like mesh different.
Yeah, I mean, if you looking at it, you did. But I get you saying player.
Los, man.
I'm just telling you, that's what just happened.
Wally, what you think, man?
Man, I don't know. I don't think one make the other. I think that you say you got to pick one, but I think it's like a 50-50 rule, right? Because I think it's almost like the coach is the puppet master. And what I mean by that, he got to get a player the tools. It's just like chess. If you make the wrong move, you lost. So I think you gotta build those players up. But if that player don't give the coach what he need, it's vice versa. So I think it's a 50-50 rule on that. I don't think one make the other. I tell this story to some people, but I remember when I was in high school, and Norris used to give us quotes every day. Now you tell me the whole team from the hood, we just was after we could play. You know what I'm saying? We ain't used to listen to no coaches, but he used to give us quotes every single day. And I remember one day, I think it was about to start the playoffs, my 12th grade year. And we've been playing with this dude for 3 years. And it clicked to me. It was a quote that he gave us. And the quote was this. Everybody, but I ain't gonna say the quote. We don't live. I ain't gonna cuss. But anyway, it was a quote about excuses. Everybody got excuses, just like everybody got a asshole. You get what I'm saying? So, but we was about to play, and people was in there complaining. And I say, damn, this man been giving us quotes for 3 years, and I see why. You get what I'm saying? Like, but he was working his magic. You get what I'm saying? On that end, from a mental aspect. And that's when I understood, like, yo, it ain't just the players, or it ain't just the coaches either. Because you can have the best athletes out there, but if that coach an asshole, you ain't gonna get the best out of them. You get what I'm saying? Vice versa. You could be the best, you could have the best coach and the team just don't click. It's a lot to it, man. So I can't pick one or the other. I just gotta say it's a 50-50 rule on that. Some of the greatest teams ain't become the best because they ain't got a good coach. You know what I'm saying? Some of the best coaches ain't become the best coaches because they ain't had the best team. So it's 50-50 to me.
Dion? Oh, you already went. Los, what you got? Dion don't know what he wants, so we're going to skip him for a minute.
What you mean? What? Darius just said the same thing Dion just said, basically.
Yeah, it's hard, man.
Nobody's going to answer the question. And
I think mine was a little bit better, man.
Tell you just like this, because, being on both sides, man, and being, what I'm saying, I've been a pro for, 14 years, and then getting on the other side of the coaching and, seeing different aspects and just thinking like, back in my career. And to be honest, man, I always believe that the best coaches, it always was the coaches that made the players, man, because it goes back to what Dion said. It's a coach that has 14, whatever, 12 to 15 different people. And you gotta maestro all of these guys, egos, their whatever they got going on in life, and that everything in life translates to basketball. You know what I'm saying? And you got, like I said, the coach, he's out here. He gotta know what this guy on. He gotta know how to approach that guy. He gotta know how to talk to this one. He gotta know if this one has a problem at home. He might have, I think all of that goes back to the coach, because it goes back to what we first talked about, the recruiting process. The parents trusting the coach. And that's like when you send your kid off to college, you trusting that coach to get the best out of your child, protect your child, you know what I'm saying, and do everything. So I believe, from my point of view, man, I believe it's the coach, man, because, the coach, I don't care what nobody said. If Michael Jordan ain't had Phil, I don't know what was going on. And that's just true. When Phil and Tex brought that system, Mike was like, what, you know what I'm saying? They said Mike was like, what is this? And then it brought some structure and some discipline. Mike still was going to do his thing. They was trying to teach him that, okay, you're still going to get all your opportunities. You know what I'm saying? We just want to put everybody in a different spot and have everybody doing other things while you are here working your magic. You know what I'm saying? So it goes back, the coach putting you in the greatest position possible. And I think
played in the triangle, man. And I can understand why Mike did that number. Like, what is this? Because it's like, it is very it's easy to a basketball mind, but at the same time, it's very tedious and very detail oriented, and it's all read and react. We talk about the dribble drive today. It's all off the pass. If I catch it in the mid post, you're going back door. If I catch it in the post, we're cutting a certain way. And then I get to play one-on-one. It's at the high post, you hit the high post, you got lob reads off of it. It's a whole lot of stuff that goes into the triangle,
and then he added Shaq to that. Like,
when you put Shaq
with Coach, first it was no centers over there, so he didn't have anything to do. He had them setting the screen, they come off the double screen, then he just set another screen for Pippen or somebody, hit Ron Harper, you know what I'm saying? But when Shaq was there, it was like, damn, how Shaq get in the post? You know what I'm saying? He run right down to the post or whatever. He set a screen and flash back in. They cross screening for Shaq.
But that was set like that so that in that offense, because I ended up playing the five, that's how I made the D-League team, because the other fives didn't get it. And then a lot of fours, like it brought 18 people to training camp, then only 10 made the team. But I made the team because I had to understand it. And I told my coach was like, you're too short to play center. I said, but I can go in there and post up all your 7-footers and get the job done that you're trying to get done right now. He was like, no, you can't. I said, you want me to prove it to you? Because Chucky Brown was my assistant coach, and he was standing next to me, and Chucky was like, just go in. So I went in, caught the ball, boom, made drop pass, made the next drop pass because I was a decent passer. And then I scored on his 7-footers 2 times in a row, and he looked. So I came back out, being young and egotistical a little bit. I was like, so you still think I can't do it? I said, it's not really hard. It's a post-up. All you got to do is be able to make the passes. But you talking when you add Shaq to that, and when he had Pau, at that time when I was there, Pau Gasol was in it, Bynum. So you're talking 2 legitimate good passers, but 2 legitimate 7-footers that were not just back to the basket players. But when they were on the floor, they were different. Bynum was back to the basket more so than Pau, but it was set for the 5-man to run straight to the block. So when you have a guy like Shaq who can just run to the block, and then your 4-man is Robert Horry or Rick Fox or whoever, it makes it easy for you. But I get it. But that was just a question I wanted to throw out there. I know Dion itching at the bit. Come on, Dion, let's get on these trainers out here.
No, I mean, and it's good Los on here too, because, Los do some real good training too. He created his own business with that. Now, my thing is like, when you talk about a kid working out with a trainer, if you're going to sit there and spend time with a kid, you definitely want to make sure, 1, the kid is getting better, and then 2, is translating to the actual game. That's my only thing. Like, you can't be sitting there, working out a kid, and then, the kid come back to practice or whatever it may be, and then you sitting there like, man, it gotta have, I mean, whoever you working out with, just remember, it doesn't have to be 5 and 6 people that you working out with, because when you start doing that, they might be showing you something that you don't even need in your game at that time. So I just think you need to be real mindful of who you're working out with, and just make sure that they touching on things that that you can actually add to your game, and then people can see you grow, when your season, start out.
I agree with that. I'm gonna touch on it some because I got a little kid up here. He ain't little. He's 6'8". He's going to D3 school next year, but he's an academic kid too. But you do have to be mindful of who you're working out with, because at the end of the day, if I play in your system, Dion, where it may be a little more freedom for me to play my game, so I might have to have 4 or 5 individual moves that I need to work on. But if I'm in your system, Wiley, and I'm not saying these are y'all system, but if I'm just using examples, but if I'm in Wiley's system, then I might have to be a little more indexed to, my game has to be confined to a smaller repertoire, so to speak. And then Los, if I'm in your game, I may play a role in your system. So I need to be working, yes, to make myself as an individual player, but I need to also be working to make myself fit the role that I'm going to play on the team, because that's what they do at the next level in college. They're going to develop your individual game, but you got to they're developing your individual game to fit their system, to fit your role in their system. That's my opinion. I could be very wrong, but I think that, you're developing their individual game to fit the role of them in your system.
And I think that is incorrect on college coaches' point.
Tell me why. I mean, I'm cool with being wrong.
Because I take that back to my 2005 team.
Yeah.
We were coached for college. We weren't coached to be pros. We were coached for that system. You had Trey Kelly, Torrance Kinsey, Ronaldo Balkman, Brandon Wallace, and myself. Brandon Wallace, Ronaldo Balkman, and myself are not 5 men. We're not fives. We're not. We could have been stretch fours. You know what I'm saying? Wally is a stretch four. He wasn't a 5 man, but he played the 5 in college. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So we were down on the block at 6. You know what I'm saying? 6'5", 6'6", 6'9", and 6'8". You know what I'm saying? With our back to the basket, instead of learning that on this next level, but you're gonna have to be on the wing learning how to be a wing player and defend a wing player. You know what I'm saying? So I think coaches at the same time should be teaching these kids how to be pros, because it's always, my thing was, and I say this, to my kids now, it's always next level. I don't want to baby you and teach you stuff for right now. Everything we are doing, we're gonna do next level. And that's that, and that's how you stay ahead of the curve. And that's how I think, you know what I'm saying, I was successful throughout my career, man, because I always wanted to be next level, man. And I was gonna outwork you until I was next level.
Wiley?
Cool. I mean, trainers, I don't have no problem with trainers. I think what some trainers could mess up is basically like, if they try to do everything, you get what I'm saying? Like trainers, coaches, it don't matter. When you think whoever you dealing with, it's your property. You get what I'm saying? Like what Carlos said, you got it, man. Whoever you dealing with is to prepare them for that next level. So when you got trainers that get it mixed up, where they start getting more personal and mixing it with their business, you get what I'm saying? Like, now I got to eat off this person. So now I'm thinking I got to have this person this close to me. Like, you get what I'm saying? So now I'm making decisions for that person that ain't the best decisions to keep them around me. When stuff like that happen, that's a problem. And just like, I mean, hell, anybody can say they're a trainer. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your background? And then you don't have to be a baller to say you're a trainer. You get what I'm saying? If you train, you train. But be a trainer. You know what I'm saying? Prepare them for wherever the kids got to go. I mean, I always train people for years, but I never say, hey, I'm a trainer. That's crazy. You get what I'm saying? Like, I work with kids to help prepare them wherever they got to go. I would never say I'm a trainer. Just because you're in the gym with somebody don't make you a trainer. You get what I'm saying? Now, you got Los over there. Los, go ahead.
Hey, but Wally, no, what you just said, though, like, okay, so if you got Carlos over here on your right-hand side, that played at USC, that played in the league. Okay, then you got Jamal over here on your left-hand side. This is example, Jamal. And Jamal never played no basketball, but he's been studying magazines. He's been on YouTube. And, it's time for your son to work out. So where are you sending your son to?
Oh, I'm gonna go to Los. But I'm gonna say this, though. I will say this. And this has always been a rule of thumb to me. If somebody been training for 10 or 12 years and they ain't start off with listen, they gotta be good at it by now. And if they not, and let's be honest, after you done did what you done did for 5 or 10 years, your resume should be up. You get what I'm saying? Your work should show after 5 or 10 years. But if you out here still doing what you're doing, and it could be a fake resume now. You get what I'm saying? That's a problem. But I just think that it's a cross. Some people, that path cross. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got, if you good at what you do, you ain't got to say a word. You get what I'm saying? That action to show, and they'll always come back. You don't have to say nothing. You don't got to put no videos out. You don't got to tweet every 2 seconds. You don't got to go to, you don't have to do none of that. It will show. You get what I'm saying? Your work will show for itself. But if it's your livelihood, cool. Let it be your livelihood, but don't hurt people in the process. That's all I'm saying. It's just like coaching. Hell, it's 1,000 AAU teams and nobody got to keep, it's a lot of people out there don't have a clue. You get what I'm saying? It's 1,000 people that say they coaches or they what's the word? Representatives, you know what I'm saying? I call them the school people. Remember how school used to be. If you're from Columbia, you know what I'm talking about. But it's a lot of that going on, man, that hurts that situation. I have no problem with trainers, man, because there's some out here that's real good that never played. There's some out here that played that ain't that good. You get what I'm saying? But I think your action, I judge people off their action. That's it, but I think all of the factors of the game have to be there. I think they have to be there. I think from a parent aspect, I think parents need to get more educated before they won't get bamboozled. That's a fact. There's a lot of people out here getting bamboozled that's just not educated on the process, and I think that's a problem more than anything. Parents got to be willing to get educated and don't be lazy at doing their due diligence. That's just me, how I feel about it.
Yeah.
What, Leon? What else you got about trainers? I mean,
that's all that stuff is good. Like I said, it's about making sure you developing or you helping develop the finished product along their journey, from elementary, middle school, into high school, because I can't sit there and get in the gym with Carlos and he's already polished, and say, oh, because of me, I'm helping Carlos out even more. That's my thing. You know what I'm saying? So like, how about you take an average Joe and you say, okay, school, he can't walk and chew gum at the same time. And if his mom and dad want to invest into my training, we're gonna look at the finished product, 3 or 4 years down the road, because in that way, that's letting me know that you invested into my child and helping him get better. But you can't sit there and invest in guys who already got it. You know what I'm saying?
right.
That was like, some of my debate with that. But nah, I don't have no problems with trainers, because there are a lot of good trainers out here, but at the same time, it's just, make sure, it's translating into their game. I don't care if it's AAU, pickup, or whatever. It just needs to make sure that that kid is getting better at some capacity.
So do you think it's important that more coaches start teaching positionless basketball?
No,
because the game has, I ain't gonna say it's moved that way, but do you think that's important? I personally was a positionless player because I thought that it would make me the most valuable, because in college I had to play the 5 my senior year, but as soon as I got overseas, I played literally everything from the 1 through the 5. So I was prepared for it because I got to play on the perimeter, but I was the center at Cal State Florida at 6'7", and that's not very big, and I'm not a 5 man, and quite frankly, to me being 6'7" was a reason that Phoenix wouldn't bring me to training camp, so to speak. If I had been 6'9", playing the 5 and been versatile, it'd have been a different story. But do you think it's important for positionless basketball?
Well, let me ask Carlos this, because Carlos played at USC, of course. Hey, Carlos, your time at USC and the position you played, okay, but then at the pro level, you were more on the wing. So at USC, who helped you get better?
At the wing?
No, I'm just saying, like, when you was at USC, who helped you get better? Who helped your game get better?
To be honest, bro, we did like individual stuff in practice, but as far as like teaching me how to play the wing, I taught myself how to play the wing. out of college, just because I knew I had to play that going pro. But in college, I would say Coach Duckett. He was the guy. Him, Ernie Nestor. Those were the guys that we did like extra stuff, man. But I always was with the post guys, man. I always remember that, bro. I didn't really get to work out with the perimeter guy. They just stuck me down there with the post guys. They really developed me as a wing player. So I just abuse them on the block.
No, but that goes with what Jamal was asking too. Like, did you get caught up in the position or
Man, to be honest, man, I think playing the post helped me be successful in my career because once I played the post, I knew how to, play with my back to the basket. And then I found out on the wing, I can do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent, I can post you up on the wing to get the ball. And that's what I was doing instead of, I learned how to, we all learn how to V cut and L cut. Certain kids can't really get into somebody's body, something like that. But I think being in the post helped me post people up on the wing to get the ball, starting offenses and stuff like that. And then graduating from that to being comfortable with putting the ball on the ground more than 2 times. You know what I'm saying? That's probably one of the biggest things as far as translating from block to perimeter, man. Putting that rock on the ground more than twice.
You had to do it the other way around. See, I went from being a post player in high school to having to get to Western Kentucky to be strictly a 3. And I personally thought that transition was a little bit harder. And it got better as the year went on. Like me and Coach talked about on last Friday, I told him, I said, man, I was frustrated at one point during the year because you had me playing at the wing all year long in practice because I would always be on the team and I could never sub out in practice. So I was either the 3 or the 4. And I was like, Coach, I got frustrated until after the season, you put it in perspective. He was like, you were making such an impact on the game when you got in. I was trying to get you in shape where you wouldn't be able to come off the floor and you could play longer than 4 or 5 minutes. Because I don't know if people believe it or not, but them 4 minutes until you get to that TV timeout, that is very long, especially if you miss one. Like that's, man, listen. And in the first 4 minutes of the game, man, you will be tired. But the transition ended up, I mean, I could already shoot going to college, and I could put it on the floor for big man, so to speak. And when I was able to develop that wing work, because I never did any post work. All the post work I had was what I had at home. But when I got to Western Kentucky, it was all wing work. Even at Cal State Fulton, and I was playing the 5, everything I did was mid-range, post work, some post work, but it was a lot of face up, put the ball on the floor because I knew going to play overseas, I was going to be a face up 4. I was going to be stretch 4. I was going to be a 5. So I don't know. That was difficult for me. I don't know how it was easier for you, but it was hard for me. I had help along the way trying to get there.
I think it made me better though, because I could play everything, man.
Yeah, it made me better. I mean, because when I got to California, man, people didn't know. Like, if you were 6'7" and you walked in the gym in California, you were automatically a big man. They didn't care who you were, what you were a big man in California because they played little basketball.
Yeah, man. But, more positions I played, that better chances I would get to stay. You know what I'm saying? In the league. But it came down to when I was in the league, you had to be a specialist. You either had to be a shooter, rebounder, a defender. I already got a superstar, somebody who can score. You know what I'm saying? So you either had to sit in that corner and knock Danny Green, or you go in there and you just Ronnie Turi off and get all the offensive rebounds, or you just go there and you just go get Pat Beverly and you're gonna be a defender. You know what I'm saying? So it was no Draymond Green in the league when I was in there, except for Goku with the Spurs or somebody like that. It was like the only point forward, and it was like Phoenix brought it in, and then Golden State with Steven Jackson and all those it wasn't no room in the league for nobody to do all of that shit. Make passes, score, you know what I mean? So I think that was a major advantage they got right now. So you can do multiple. That's all it is.
I agree with that, man. About positionless basketball. I mean, hell, everybody. That's my same story. Coach gave me 2 weeks. He said, "Listen, big." He laughed and said, "Boy, you got 2 weeks. You don't know how to play the 2 and the 3. You got to go." So I mean, I agree. So hey, ever since I started coaching, I say, "Listen, man, you got to learn 5 through 1 or 1 through 5. Whatever position you in, you need to learn every position on the court." I mean, to this day, I don't. None of my plays or the way I train is not about putting your back to the basket. That's literally probably almost dead. And Lowe said something real important, man, about being a specialist. You know, you got to know the game mentally, but you got to specialize in something if you're trying to survive in this thing. So, I mean, I agree, man. The game changing. I think too. You know, the winter circuit that we played, the summer circuit we played, it was a shot clock. So, I mean, I feel that need to be in the game too. You know, so I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot, man, about the game that's changing, and that goes back to what we were saying earlier. Coaches got to be up on their game. You know what I'm saying? People gonna complain about it, but they got to be up on it and adjust. You know, Lowe said the best thing, man. I think of the whole conversation about preparing these kids for the next level, not the level they on, but the next level. You know, and that's how they gonna make it. I mean, that's just it is what it is, and that's how the game is. So I agree about positionless basketball.
Where the game, to me, that's where the game is headed and has gone. Not necessarily headed there because now your bigs are 7 foot, 220, and all they do is set screens, roll to the basket, dunk, and block shots. Your bigs now are usually your specialists. They're blocking shots, they're rebounding because your fours, quote unquote, are your guards that are putting the ball in the hole.
Yeah.
Leon, you had said something about rankings too. So I guess I'll put this out there. Wiley, you on that Nike level. You can chime in. I wasn't ranked in high school, care less. I was one of the best in the state of South Carolina in my class. But with some of these rankings, do you think that the rankings are really true about that player, or are they just getting that ranking because of where they are, who they play with, the amount of exposure that they've gotten?
Who you asking?
You start out.
Man, listen, I really don't care. Rankings don't mean nothing until you in the 12th grade about to sign that paper, or you getting to go to playing all in whatever games or whatever, or however you trying to figure out your future. The one thing about rankings that kills it all is, and you could do your research on this. It's a lot of kids not developed. Late bloomers probably make it more, probably make it further than those kids they talk about middle school or early high school. It's always the late bloomers that actually be the ones who succeed farther than anybody. And it's 2 reasons. One thing I don't like about rankings is, first of all, it ain't real. And what I mean by this real, now the first 15, the first 15 kids, I say, okay, they usually the ranking people is on point. And when I say that, I'm talking about ESPN or 24/7 Sports or something like that. But when we start talking about rankings for kids in middle school or elementary, freshman year, no, that's a joke. That's a joke. I mean, it's good if it's from a national level, figuring out, where you measure up against the talent that's coming up in your so-called grade. But if you're not top 5 by the time top 15 by the time you're a senior, I mean, none of that stuff really even matters. Because first of all, you should be measuring yourself up. I always say against kids 4 years older and 4 years behind you. You get what I'm saying? Because that's who you really competing against. If you're talking about from a college level or going farther than that. So the ranking is fluff. It's a lot of fluff, man. I always say no fluff. It's a lot of fluff. it's good for organizations, if you're trying to, get somewhere. But if your kid is not getting developed and you just stuck on a mixtape or two, just that temporary fame. I mean, that's cool for them, but I mean, I really don't buy into it. From a state level, I don't buy into it. From a national level, I buy into it when you're in 11th or 12th grade, as far as you trying to decide how far you could go as far as a measuring stick in your future. You got more kids don't make it because they get caught up in the hype. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
because you got now Carlos said something last week when we was talking, and you know uh he went with beach ball out to Vegas, right, Los?
Mhm.
Yeah, he went out to Vegas with beach ball select, and went out there and put in some work and really made a name for yourself. I'm with you, D. The ranking stuff really don't mean nothing. It's about the body of work, because I'm pretty sure when Carlos got to the SEC, just like with Brandon, you really saw who was good, and what those guys can do, and then you really saw who was just all about the hype. And you got a lot of people that's ranking these kids. They ranking them because they got a relationship with them and they like them. And I don't want to hurt your feelings. I mean, right or wrong,
It always been like that.
but
Always.
it's like I haven't seen Jamal play here in the state, but I seen Carlos play about 10 times. Carlos, you my favorite. I'm gonna rank you number one. Jamal, hey bro, you gonna be on the outside looking in, man. So now Jamal gotta go out and work that much harder. But I think a lot of those kids use that as motivation though. To have some of these national kids ahead of them where they can just go out there and bust their butt.
I did because
Select
I felt
few.
like
That's a select few of kids, man. You know what I'm saying? That have that type of, motivation to do that, put in that extra work. You know what I'm saying? A lot of, like I said, just being around, basketball the last, 2 years. I retired 2 years ago, and just seeing a lot of different kids and being in the gym a whole lot more, man. It's the thing that these kids don't understand is work. That work ethic is gonna separate you from
Yeah.
a whole lot of kids, and you will be able to tell instantly too, man. And that's the thing, man. You will be able to tell instantly, man. Some of these kids I started working with, and you know what I mean. Just when I first, trying to get my name out there as far as coaching and training and developing these kids, and I was like, man, this kid only missing some, just small little stuff, you know what I mean, just to take his game to a whole new level, and then just start working with them for like 2-3 weeks, and then just watching them applying stuff like that, and then you see them in the, in school or whatever, and it's like, man, I knew that was gonna happen because he just wasn't taught the proper way to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? So it's about the type of work you're putting in, next level work, of course, but man, at the end of the day, man, that work, these kids got to know that little bit of work that you can put in an hour. Get off the game for an hour and go put in some work for an hour. That'll show, just like that.
Hey,
Especially when the levels of basketball, you can see it. Like it's so like blatant. Like you can just it's out there. You see right through it, man. You know who work on the game. You know who don't work on the game. You know who got natural talent and don't work on their game. You know who got natural talent and work on their game. You know what I'm saying? You can, in South Carolina, you can see it, man. I'm like, yo, this kid right here is good. But this kid right here, you can tell he worked. He just naturally good. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like that work is gonna take off, man.
No, I do. Let me tell you, I test because it's bigger than the kids too. And what I mean by that, parents, is big and all this. I do it. This is a simple test I do. We work out 5 o'clock in the morning. So I tell the parent, hey, we got practice 5 a.m. I mean, not practice. We're gonna work out 5 a.m. Either they're gonna show up or they not. Now, don't get it wrong. I'm not saying if a parent don't come at 5 a.m. that their kid ain't gonna be able to do this or do that. But what it shows a level of commitment, right? And Los, you work. Now, I will say this: I don't see too many people that work like you. The stuff you put these kids through. and adults. Now, with that being said, that is a telltale sign. You know for a fact, oh, this kid gonna be able to go this far, or they not gonna be able to go this far, basically off of their work ethic. You know, you'll know if a kid will be able to, if they're gonna be able to get to the level they need to get to be these particular number one player, number 2, 3, whatever that is. You get what I'm saying? So it's about work ethic. And then you got some, and when I say parents have a big part in this, because to be honest, man, some parents don't want to put that investment into their kids to get where they need to be. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's an investment. It's all investment, and it's a body of work that's gonna take years. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna happen in 1 year, 2 year. It's a way of life. So I mean, it's a lot to that. That's another reason I don't buy into rankings, because I've seen too many kids that was number 2, 3, 4, 5 in the nation, and they at home chilling, or they mentally messed up because they ain't make it where everybody that was in their right and left ear telling them what they was gonna be. You get what I'm saying? So I've been kind of been off of that. I know from an organization standpoint, I understand we got to be in the right spots to give certain, to give these kids a look. So you got to go here and go there. But I mean, you guys, any kid I ever worked with, man, I ain't stroking no egos. You know what I'm saying? Or the parents, it's not happening. You got to put that work in. So I mean, I don't buy into the ranking things too heavy at all.
Use rankings as motivation, man.
That's it.
Yeah.
Or your target,
I mean,
or to know who kids you got to go, what kids you got to point out, and and striking them down for that.
You gotta know who you gotta go get, man. Like, okay,
that's right.
You want to get him. Yep, I'm gonna get him too. We coming. I'm gonna wait till we go to this tournament. I'm gonna get him. We gonna meet.
Exactly.
You kids, man, they too cool, man.
But you gotta make sure too, you go out and find the ones that they not talking about.
Oh, facts. Diamond in the rough.
Yeah,
you gotta find the diamonds in the rough. Hey, you know what? No, that's another beauty too. Knowing what you really can do, from a coach to a trainer, whoever. If you could grab somebody ain't nobody talking about and create a monster, you ain't gotta say nothing. You could just smile in their face and let that body of work show for itself. So that's that right there. I love that. Them diamonds in the rough, and it's a lot out here. That shows who you are.
But that was the thing that I loved about like when I used to go with Gerard and Raymond, and this before Raymond even blew up. And while and Carlos, you too, but what I'm saying is, like, with Raymond was just a kid from Ladder, South Carolina, playing up. Nobody knew who he was, but then when he played with Tops, he still was like maybe like 4th or 5th best on that team because Tops was loaded, on a Wiley team with Gerard and them. And then when he went over to beach ball, he went on a world tour of crushing everybody that they were all talking about. Now, Bob Givens was his opening with Tops at that younger age where he was on that list. But when he went over to beach ball and he started playing, I mean, it was crazy because everybody they put in front of that dude, man. I mean, he destroyed. So he went from being a nobody to killing everybody.
Hey, I'm gonna give y'all a quick story about Raymond, man. So when we merged our team, with Tops up here, and then we grabbed Raymond, Jamal, rest in peace, Gerard, and all them guys from down there in Mullins. Like you said, Raymond was a little kid. Only thing Raymond could do was shoot. They was debating if they should even bring Raymond. 2 reasons. He could shoot, but he was a baseball player. So it was like, man, he ain't even about to stay with us for the whole summer. He played baseball. But the difference was, man, Raymond had dog in him. You get what I'm saying? Like when I say real dog, like if he felt like he couldn't do something, that man come back and he gonna do it, So I mean, we knew he was special on that level, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think Raymond, like Dion said, Raymond was probably like the 4th, 5th best player. So I'd never forget this. I think my 10th grade year, Raymond 9th grade year, they was kind of in between of him coming back because he's gonna play baseball or football or something, right? And he came back to a practice. They convinced him to come up to a practice. Raymond was like 5'9", now he like 6'1", 6'2", and could jump out the gym, right? And I remember asking Gerard, like, yo, what's going on? He said, man, he been working all summer, right? But they talking about working. Now, I ain't gonna get into how it happened and how we split up and everything, but I'm gonna say this though. When we was just talking about earlier, about you could see that dog work and you could kind of tell who gonna be something in the future. Yo, at that particular time, I say, yo, man, this dude an NBA player, bro. And he probably was like a 9th or 10th grader. Only because not like he wasn't even the rawest, but I watched this, I seen his leap and his effort. The dude effort was compared to none at that particular time. You know, and you talking about a team with, like I say, Gerard, Gerald, Harper, Demetrius Summers, you know, all these real athletes, you know, but that one particular kid that was Raymond Felton, I say, yo, just his dog, man, his dog separated him. You know what I'm saying? So you never know. Like Deion say, them diamonds in the rough, you know, those are special pieces, man. Those are special pieces. So,
that's why before we end, Jamal, that's why I gotta bring up this. Yo, listen, I'm telling y'all, Torrey Kelly, he's up next, baby. He's up next, Los. Hey, and Los, he played for Mark Cooper, man. Carolina Cavs, baby.
All right.
That's JV coach in the South.
There you go, starting that up again.
Hey man, we ain't gonna talk about that JV stuff, man. You know everybody was scared.
Hey Jamal, we got to do this again, man.
That's cool. Let's get a topic. Let's get it rolling.
Yeah, man. Appreciate y'all dudes, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. Hit me anytime. I'm with it.
Yeah, sir, man. Great dialect, man. I enjoy myself as usual. Talking to some educated individuals, man. So I'm looking forward to the next one.
Let me take this off live. Hold on.